back. It is Overwatch League predictions time. Stage 3, week 4. Only 2 more weeks for this stage, and then we got 1 stage left. Crazy. Overall playoff picture is really starting to solidify a little bit and get a little tighter. One thing to note, my computer is having issues. It's out of commission right now, so I'm working off my phone for a lot of the stuff, so it's less optimal than usual. So if I take a little longer to get to stuff, that is why. Anyway, first match, we're gonna hop right in. We got Shanghai Dragons facing up against Boston Uprising. So the team that hasn't won this stage, or in the whole league, against a team that has won 10 matches in a row. Not a great matchup for Shanghai. They're playing on Volskaya, Numbani, Ilios, and Route 66. Not much to say here. It's a 4-0. Boston's going to move one step closer in clinching that top spot. I think they will win both their matches easily this week, and they'll go to 8-0, and they'll have virtually clinched at that point. They'll pretty much need to win one of their last 2. And they're in. Boston is in. They're 100% into the stage playoff picture. They are 3rd right now in the overall playoffs, but they have the 2nd best record. So yeah, Boston in really good shape right now. You're thrilled if you're a Boston fan right now. One thing to note about Boston, though, they have won every match. Every freaking match, it seems, recently. They win all of their 3-2s. They do not lose 3-2. They just keep winning their close matches. So it's going to be very interesting to see if they can keep that up once they play the good teams again. We'll see if they really just have that little bit extra, or if they were just kind of, I don't want to say getting lucky, but like they were just getting matches to go in their favor, and we'll see if the other teams can, next time they play, do the same and start flipping those 3-2s. So yeah, we'll see. But Boston Uprising in very good shape for stage playoffs and overall playoffs. Second match. This is an excellent matchup. Super excited for this one. Got Houston Outlaws facing off against the LA Valiant. On the stage, Valiant are 5-1. Outlaws are 3-3. I don't know. This might be the closest matchup of the week. They're playing on Temple of Anubis, Blizzard World, Nepal, and then Junkertown. I think LA is probably a slightly better team than the Outlaws. They have a little more flexibility, especially with their DPS. But I think Outlaws tanks are a little bit better, even though Valiant have very good tanks as well. And I think the supports are about a wash. I might honestly give Houston the edge there as well. I would probably go with Valiant in this series, but the maps. Temple of Anubis has been horrible for LA this stage. We'll see if they run their same strategy or if they bring in Bunny to pair with Soon, because they've been trying to do the dive with Soon on Tracer and agilities on Genji, and it has not worked at all. They've been totally stomped. Houston is very good at defending, so that's not a good combination for LA. I think Houston takes that one. Blizzard World, I think, is going to be close. It'll be back and forth. I think Houston will take that one as well, though. I think that the edge in this map will go to the team with a better Widowmaker, and I think Linkser is significantly better than Soon on Widow, so I'm going to go with Houston there as well. In Nepal, I think Valiant will definitely take that one. They looked good on Control. Outlaws kind of struggle a bit on Control. I think they'll probably run Bunny and agilities again and just let them shine. And that will give them the edge. They'll balance it out. And just the main thing that the Valiant has over the Outlaws, very, very good at Tracer. They have 2 extremely good Tracer players, even though I think Soon is significantly better than Bunny. But they both can be very useful and very good. So that is their big advantage over Houston. But with these maps and with the playstyle of Houston, I don't think it's going to matter that much. And then map 4, it's Junkertown. I mean, Junkrat, Junkertown. this is Houston's map. They look extremely good on this map. Could see them easily full holding LA on this one and clinching the series 3-1. If they go to Game 5, I think Houston's in trouble, but I don't think they will go to Game 5. I think this one ends in a 3-1 win for the Outlaws. And this is also a very important matchup in the overall standings because you got the Valiant are 16-10. They are one game behind Seoul for lead of their division. So if they do pass Seoul, they'll be the number 2 seed automatically because they won their division. The Outlaws are 15-11. They're one game behind the Fusion, the Valiant. They're a couple games behind the Dynasty, the Spitfire. So they're 7th right now. They're the first team out of the playoffs looking in. But if they get some wins here, they're going to be right back in the playoffs. So we'll see. I mean, this matchup is extremely important for both teams. It's extremely important for other teams in the playoff race, like the Fusion, the Gladiators, some of those lower teams that are trying to get in or stay in. So yeah, extremely good matchup here. But because of the maps, I'm going Houston. 3-1. Last match of the day: Florida Mayhem, Dallas Fuel. So the Fuel, I don't know the status on Taimu, one of their DPS players who they changed to main tank, who went back to DPS. He had a panic attack a couple days ago, and it sent him to the hospital. So I would hope and think that they're just like giving him a couple weeks just off, like don't play, just take some time, like just try to get your mental health in a better place, like talk to like your friends. Stuff like that to kind of just alleviate that stress, step away from Overwatch League for a little while. And speaking of stepping away from Overwatch League, Effect has also stepped away. He's back in Korea. You could tell he was really starting to deteriorate. The losses were really starting to pile up. And I mean, because when he joined Envious, they had a ton of success, and they never really dealt with this before. And just the losses, the complete dysfunctionality of the organization as a whole have pushed Effect to the brink. So I'm glad he's taking time off. The Fuel are out of any kind of playoff race anyway, so that's fine. I don't know what the hell they're going to do for DPS if they don't play Taimu at all, which I hope they won't. And obviously Effect is in Korea, so that pretty much leaves AKM. I assume they'll probably put Siegel back on DPS, but he was practicing off tank, like your diva play, for the past couple months, so he's probably rusty as hell. So I think the Fuel are in really big trouble. I think the Mayhem beat them pretty easily. Temple of Anubis, Numbani, Ilios, and Junkertown. I mean, honestly, it could be 4-0. I could totally see 4-0 here, maybe 3-1. But yeah, I mean, Dallas, their DPS situation went from having a bunch of them, then you release Rascal, Effect taking a break, Taimu is having health concerns, and then, oh, look, it's just AKM, the one-trick soldier who can't play anything except soldier. Oh, uh-oh. Yep, they're in huge trouble. They're going to take a lot of L's. I think Florida's one game behind them in the standings, so this could be the game where Florida jumps them. And moving on to Thursday. This is a weird week for me because the Gladiators pretty much always play on Wednesdays. I think they had played on like 8 or 9 Wednesdays in a row before this, but nope, they're playing Thursday this time. So today I'm gonna be like, oh, Gladiator match. Oh wait, never mind. So I'm honestly, the only match I'm gonna watch today will probably be LA and Houston. Maybe I'll watch Dallas, Florida. I have no interest in Boston, Shanghai. I don't need to see Boston stomp Shanghai. Anyway, first matchup of Thursday, we got LA Gladiators facing up against London Spitfire. So the Spitfire coming in, they're 17-9, 2-4 on the stage. If they want to make the stage playoffs, they got to win out. Gladiators are 3-3 on the stage. They're 13-13 total. They're looking at, they need to win 3 of their last 4 to have a shot. If they win 3 of their next 4, I think as long as their map differential is pretty good, like as long as they don't lose 0-4 and like and if all their wins aren't 3-2, if they can keep a decent map differential, I think they're in good shape. But winning 3 of 4 is going to be tough for them. They got a bunch of good teams to face off against, starting with the Spitfire. So the Gladiators, they didn't play in Stage 1, and the Gladiators beat the Spitfire in Stage 2. In my head, in Stage 3, by far the most important maps are going to be maps 1 and 2, because the Gladiators and the Spitfire have both been very good on those 2 maps, and they've been a lot weaker on maps 3 and 4. Gladiators getting reverse swept last time. They also took losses on they lose Ilios. The Gladiators are pretty weak on Ilios. Nepal is the much better control map for them this stage, but Spitfire are just weak on control in general. So this is a very interesting matchup. It's a revenge game for London now. Gladiators, they lost 2 heartbreakers last week. They lost in a Game 5 that went right down to the wire of the Valiant, and then lost in a Game 5 that went right down to the wire, which was a reverse sweep, by the way, to the New York Excelsior. So that hurt their chances a lot. If they were sitting at 4-2 right now, they'd be in really good shape. Plus, they'd be 14-12. They would only be 2 games out of a playoff spot instead of 3. So they really desperately need some wins. I think that because of their losses, they're going to dig in, and they're going to get this one. They're going to take down the Spitfire again. They're starting on Volskaya, going to Blizzard World, then Ilios, and finishing up on Route 66. And besides Ilios, I like these maps for Gladiators. They've been good on Blizzard World. They've been good on Volskaya. Sometimes their second point attack can struggle, but I think for Gladiators, basically you need to take Blizzard World or Volskaya. I think Spitfire will take Volskaya, Gladiators will take Blizzard World, Gladiators will take Ilios, Spitfire will probably tie it up on Route 66, and then Gladiators will win it in 5 on Oasis. It's also going to be very interesting to see if Spitfire runs Hureg once again full-time as their second DPS alongside Prophet, because everyone knows Birdring is a better player than Hureg. Birdring is one of the better players in the league when he's at his best, but he's kind of been slumping. I think that's why they haven't been playing him. He was probably experiencing some burnout, so they had Hureg in there, and he's done a pretty serviceable job. But on Widowmaker, him against Surefour, I love that matchup for Surefour. And I mean, Widow's very important for Route 66, so I think the Gladiators are in good shape for this match. So, I mean, Spitfire do scare me because they're in like a must-win situation and they want revenge, and they're just one of the best teams in the league. But I think Gladiators are really going to dig deep here, and they're going to get that win. I think I picked against them both times last week, and they lost both of them. So I'm going to have faith in my boys. They're going to come back. They're going to get a huge win here over the Spitfire. All right, second match of Thursday. We got San Fran Shock visiting the New York Excelsior. So San Fran, they're sitting at 4-2. They're 4th right now, so they would be in the stage playoff if they started today. Unfortunately for them, they do not, and they have to play the Excelsior. So one thing to note for the Excelsior, the last week they went 0-4 with Janice playing as their main tank. They were 6-0 with Mono as their main tank playing. So I understand that you got to give people some playing time, and so if Janice keeps playing like on and off, he plays a couple maps through the rest of this like regular season stage, I'm cool with that. But he should not play 1 minute in the stage playoffs. He is nowhere near as good as Mono. Nowhere near as good. He doesn't synergize with the team as well either. He's kind of like more of an aggressive tank, but he kind of needs a lot of help. And the Excelsior's playstyle revolves around a lot of pocket healing for their Zenyatta Jonak, because he's so good and he can get those opening picks. So when you have your Mercy diverting so much attention to your Zenyatta, and your Zenyatta is more of a battle Zen, like Jonak doesn't heal nearly as much as the other Zenyatta's in the league. If you look up the stats, obviously he's way better at killing things, but when you have him not healing as much, when you have your Mercy diverting a lot of her resources to the Zenyatta, your tanks need to be a lot less aggressive. And Meko has this down, their diva player, he knows, but Janice is just a bit too aggressive, so he gets caught out of position, he goes on weird flanks, he dies. It doesn't go that well for them. just because of their playstyle. Like when they need to realize that when Janus is in, they need to not pocket Jonak as much and like move in with him and be more aggressive. Mono plays perfectly with that strategy of keep Jonak alive, let him get the picks, and then move in on them with like in a combination with Stabiobi. So for New York, you either don't play Janus or adopt your playstyle when Janus is in, because playing the same way as when you play with Mono in is why you're losing maps. That is why they're losing maps. That's the only reason why. And also, Pine is incredible. He's a freaking robot. Can't say enough good things about the man. The Gladiators were like pretty handily beating the Excelsior. They put him in and they put Mono in, and bam, bam. Before you know it, 2-2, 3-2. New York wins. Pine and Mono effect. So, does San Fran stand any chance against the Excelsior? Yes, in the fact that they'll take a map or two, but no in the fact that Excelsior will say, there will be a time when New York says, all right, we're going to win the match now, and they're going to win. I mean, they're hurting their overall map differential by getting all these reverse sweeps and all these 3-2s, but they had such a huge lead in map differential anyway over all the other teams, it doesn't really matter that much. So, on Temple, Shakav looked pretty weak, honestly, on assault maps, so I think New York actually takes that one. Numbani, I like San Fran, evening the series up. And then I think that Nepal will be extremely close, but New York will edge it out, and then New York will clean up on Junkertown. It'll be a 3-1 this time. I don't think New York will have to reverse sweep. I mean, Pine on Junkertown, good luck. Nepal is a weaker map for New York than Ilios, so with this map pool, San Fran does probably have its best chance of tying it up 2-2. Numbani is a very good map for San Fran, so maybe they send this one to a map 5, but if they do, we all know who's winning this in clutch time. It's New York. They're going to win this one. They're going to improve to 6-1 on the stage, and they're going to get very close to clinching their spot for the stage playoffs. Last matchup of the week, we got Philadelphia Fusion, sitting at 16-10, 3-3 on the stage. They're hosting Seoul Dynasty. So, Seoul is 17-9, Philly is 16-10. They are both 3-3 on the stage. So, I think loser of this matchup, they're not officially eliminated, but I think the loser of this matchup will not make the stage 3 playoffs. They just won't. They'd have to win out and just like get a couple 4-0s and hope that some other people lose a couple matches. I just don't think it'll work out for them. The winner is still in pretty good shape to get in. They're playing on Temple of Anubis, Blizzard World, Nepal, and then Route 66. So for Seoul, they've been probably the biggest. Besides the fuel, they've been the biggest letdown this season. They are barely holding on to their spot over the Valiant in their division. If they lose a couple games and the Gladiators win a couple, they got the Valiant and the Gladiators to worry about in their division. And if they drop out of the division lead, they could fall out of the overall playoffs. They haven't made a stage playoff yet. Incredible how vulnerable, just vulnerable and just not great the Dynasty have looked. Guido has played the last few matches. It has something to do with Jaehong saying that he just wasn't playing well. I think he needed a break or something. He needed to rejuvenate himself or something like that. Hopefully for Dynasty he's done that and he can come back and be a lot stronger. Miro kind of looks washed up, if I'm honest. He used to be the best tank in the world, but now I think Gesture's better than him. I think Fissure's better than him. I think Gamsu's better than him. I think Mono's better than him. Yeah. Super and Fate could honestly might be better than him. So Miro's been a bit disappointing. Not that he does his job as Winston, but he's not that impact player that he was. He doesn't make those huge plays and open stuff up. Munchkin, solid tracer, but again, he doesn't do anything spectacular and open it up for Dynasty. They're pretty much their only guy like that is Fleta, and other teams focus Fleta so hard that it's hard for him to do that. But then when they focus him like that, someone like Munchkin, someone like Zumba, someone like Miro, they need to capitalize on that, but they haven't done so. Guido is pretty weak as a Zenyatta. Jaehong has been pretty weak, honestly, when he's been in there. Gambler / Toby, Great Lucio's Mercy play is kind of and Mercy is important right now. So I think that you're facing a lot of problems if you're Seoul. Philly, they're inconsistent, but in stretches they're extremely good. You saw that last stage when they almost beat Excelsior for the overall stage title. So I mean, on these maps, Temple of Anubis, Blizzard World, Nepal, Route 66, I want to pick Dynasty. I really do. I don't see them winning. I just don't. I think Philadelphia is just a better team right now. I think that they're coming off of a big loss to San Fran that they didn't see coming. They're going to be extra motivated. They had a lot of time to prepare for this. I just don't think Seoul has it in them right now. And maybe going into stage 4 they can just get it back together. I don't know. It's scary at this point for Dynasty fans. And as somebody who saw Lunatic High at their best, to see them like this, just so vulnerable, and like they could pretty much lose to anyone except the Dragons or the Fuel. But they could lose to the majority of the teams in the Overwatch League. I mean, they did beat San Fran, but they lost to 8 Gladiators, who are the 8th team in the league right now. So yeah, it's been shocking to see what's happened to them. I don't know. So I'm gonna take Philly in this one, 3-1. I'm gonna be rooting for Dynasty because, like, man, these guys need a win. If they lose this and like they don't make another stage playoff, the team might start falling apart. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see the mental makeup of this team and how they respond to losses, because wow, I think they need to change their coaching. Some of these lineups that they've had out are just what? Their strategies have been weak, it seems, the last couple stages. So we shall see if the Dynasty can regain their form and be a Dynasty again, or if they're going to kind of crumble. So there are my predictions for the first 2 days of Overwatch League this week. Got some great matchups. Honestly, I think Valiant Outlaws is the best one. Seoul Fusion could be very interesting. I think Spitfire Gladiators will be very good. Maybe the Shock give Excelsior a run for their money, and that's a good matchup. So yeah, I'd say those are the ones that I highlight for these first 2 days. I will certainly be tuning in for those matches. Hope you guys have a great couple days. I will see you back on Friday for the second half of Week 4, Stage 3.